Welcome back, everybody. Good morning.
Bro Sanchez, just one who's out there in the fight to teach. Bro Sanchez, you got the story right, and now I see, yeah. Bro Sanchez.
Good morning, everybody. Let me get a mic check. Mic check. 1 for good, 2 for bad. Welcome to Monday Mystery School. Let me get that mic check.
Bro Sanchez, just one who's out there in the fight to teach. Bro Sanchez, you got the story right, and now I see, yeah. Bro Sanchez.
Now that's the coolest theme song ever on YouTube. Welcome to Monday Mystery School with your host, Bro Sanchez. And today, we will be deciphering the occult side of Pan-Africanism. Did you hear me? Hit the like button. This is going to be powerful. We will be deciphering the occult side of Pan-Africanism and the elite agenda behind Pan-Africanism. We also will be identifying the ops. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Much love to my family, Teardrop Hall. Back to your roots, my brother Roderick. Shout out to everybody that donated for my birthday. You know who you are. I will be shouting you all out here again today. Shout out to every last one of y'all. I wish I can call you all out right now. Let me just make a statement. If you missing a wrench, let me know so I can wrench you back up. Okay? But let's not hold the show up. So, any questions that you have for me, please write them down, because part of today's mystery school is going to be Q&A. A lot of what I'm going to be teaching is going to be dictated by you guys' questions. Now, how do we understand the occult side of Pan-Africanism? There's a lot tied up into this. Mostly all of the religious, political, spiritual, excuse me. I got a car outside. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but shout out to everybody just getting in today. Let me get one more mic check before I get deep into this. It's the last mic check. Last mic check. Last mic check. Okay, thank you. So today we got a lot to go over. We got a lot of reading to do, a lot of things to learn concerning Babylonian law, or what they call the Code of Hammurabi. I'm not pronouncing it right. It's the Code of Hammurabi. I did pronounce it right. So mostly all of the religious, political, spiritual, and scientific ideologies that govern the minds of the masses are founded upon Babylonian laws. And these laws were called the Code of Hammurabi. Code of Hammurabi. Today, we will be exploring many of these ideologies, but mainly the Pan-African ideology. Now, why do Brother Sanchez want to explore the Pan-African ideology in particular? We're going to zoom in on that one, although we're going to be syncing a lot of different ideologies together. We're going to be focusing mainly on the Pan-African ideology. Why do I want to do that? The reason I want to do that is because when we talk about the Pan-African concept, what we got to realize is the Pan-African concept is very simple. We know it, you know, that all black people come from Africa. Every human on earth, we're basically the fathers and mothers of humanity. We're going to question the agenda behind that because even European scientists teach us that, and we want to know why they want to put us on a pedestal right here. There's a big agenda for this, okay? Now, stay with me. The question was, why do I want to focus on the Pan-African ideology? The answer is, it's because according to the Bible, which is the European version of the Code of Hammurabi, listen to me. The Babylonian laws was written on stone tablets. This was the story that they gave to Moses. The 10 Commandments in the Bible is the same thing as the 42 laws of Ma'at, slightly different. And the Babylonian had a version that was called the Code of Hammurabi. Now, why am I bringing up Pan-Africanism and focusing on Pan-Africanism? Because the god Pan was called Shamash by the Babylonian. We're going to discuss the Babylonian law today because that's what we're in today. That was the Greco-Egyptian law system. That is the law of the United Nations. This thing go all the way back ever since the rise of Narmer. And this is Shamash. Narmer is Shamash. Narmer in the Bible was called Ham. The biblical Ham in the Bible was called a progenitor of black people, the European account. But Ham is the root word of Hammurabi. That's the answer to why I'm focusing on Pan-Africanism. The black dude in the Bible who we call Ham is also the god Shamash and the god Pan. So when we say Pan-Africanism, what we got to realize is we're giving reverence to Shamash from an African-centered perspective. Shamash today is also called Jesus. The female version of Shamash prior to the plagiarization was called Shemesh, just like the female version of Allah was called Allat. Now, in order to understand the deception and why we still under Babylonian law, it's very, very important for you to come to the realization that when we say the word God, we're not talking about some dude sitting on a cloud. We're talking about a real dude that ruled the land and had tenants on the land. Now, this is facts. You can go with the religious beliefs all you want, and that'll keep you in darkness. We got a lot of information to read over so you can understand how modern day law is based upon Babylonian law, or what we call Mesopotamian law, Greco-Egyptian law. And we're going to be syncing it all together today and showing you how it relates to world religion system and political systems. So before we get into the religious perspective, let's first start off right here. We know during a certain time that the church ruled over the masses, and during this time, there was no such thing as a government. We got to keep that in mind. When the church ruled, there was no such thing as a government because the government was called church during this time. You didn't say, I'm going to go to the government. You say, I'm going to go to the church. So in governments, you have a president or one that presides over the residents, which are the tenants. And back during the church rule, you had a church that resided over tenants. They still used the same word tenant, but instead of using the word president during this time, they was using the word God, which is where we get our modern term for landlord. So people back then, when they was saying, when they was paying tithes to God, they was paying rent. So what we're gonna read is how the system of the Sumerians went and everything. I'll give you a brief intro before we start our reading here today, and I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can read along with me. During Sumerian time, the temple was used like a bank would be used today. Everyone had to pay a monthly sort of tithe to the temple, but it wasn't for building fund and for Pastor Pork Chop or nothing like that. It was simply for the store up for the city. So for example, if a farmer had some crops that didn't yield for that season and they lost their crops, since they paid into the temple, they can go to the temple and borrow that money out to repair their crops, and then they can replace the money over time. And there was no interest on the loan. All of the loans that you got from the temple was interest free. So this was the original concept of tithing to the church when the church was government. It was a first form of banking. The first form of banking systems was started by the church, and that's why the church owned all the banks and why the most powerful banks are in the same place where the Vatican is. Take a minute to think about that. So also, we're going to tie all of this into the law we're under today and how Pan-Africans are deceiving black people to basically follow the New World Order agenda. Now, keeping in mind what the ancient use of the temple was and what tithing was all about, let's not forget that the Lord of the land had the title of God. So one important thing to point out before we start our reading is that there were many gods. Basically, the ruler of a particular region was called a god, or the guider of that region, the guide or the god of that region. And everyone in that region sought to that person for guidance or godhood. We're talking about the origins of the terms we use in religion from a political perspective, because today the lines are blurred and you think the church is separated from politics. But I'm showing you today the ancient origins of how the church governed the tenants, but they use different titles that mean the same thing today. Basically, you ask a question. Before we start our reading, we got to do this intro. The question is, before government existed, when the church ruled alone, why didn't they just rule alone? Why did the church create government when it already was governing the people? Good question. The answer is called one word: outsourcing. You ever contracted some work before? That's what the church did. You see, you get so rich that you feel less of a need to punch a clock every day. In other words, it'll be no different than me being the owner of a business, and I'm a young man. I start my business and I'm working 7 days a week, 15 hours a day, running my own business. I'm a CEO, right? Eventually, I want to make enough money to hire another CEO so I can go to the Bahamas, so I can relax, so they can run it for me. Now, this is why the church created government. And this is why you see all of your politicians and high-ranking government people kissing the Pope hand and all that. All of these religious leaders go around the world, even during wartime, and everybody cool with them. This is the real hidden power. What do I mean by hidden power? During medieval times, when the church ruled openly, you couldn't hide it because they was directly governing the people hands-on. A wise pope said these words: true power operates in silence. So the graduation of the church's power was the creation of government. So by doing that, they can oversee politicians and presidents and all of them, and they can just relax all day and just come out once a year and check on everything. See, the Pope come around a couple of times a year, and he make his rounds to all of his whores, because he's outsourcing them. It's like a nigga checking on his trap houses. You know how a young dope dealer in a hood, when he first start off, he may have 4 or 5 trap houses. He ain't getting no sleep. And he driving to each one of them trap houses all the time. But eventually, he ain't got to hit them that much, and he can get someone else to go and do it. Now, I'm making all of these crazy examples to make different people understand what I'm saying about outsourcing. The government, rather just the true government is the religious figures of the world. That's what even govern the minds of your politicians who writing the laws. All of them belong to a religion. Now, you can go and watch a Netflix documentary called The Family that'll show you the religious hand behind the scenes. But to make a long story short, the church outsourced its job. It didn't want to deal hands-on with the people in the form of governing, so that created government. And all of these guys are puppets. They're contractors. They're on a contract, all right? It's outsourced work. I think you guys get my point on that. But saying all that to show you the relation between politics and religion and how it transitioned into government today. Now, they both govern the people simultaneously, but what it is that you have different departments, just like the military. So the political system is there to govern you as far as social economics and interactions and exchanges among each other. Basically, the referees of society, or what the Matrix call the agents in the black suits. Those are your politicians, right? So, an agent is called the agent because he has an agenda, and they carry out the agenda under an agency. Agent, agency, agenda. 3 things you want to keep in mind. An agent is an agent because he have an agenda, and he's doing it under an agency who's getting their power from a higher source. So the thing we want to point out is that so if your politicians and all of them are dealing with social economics, interchanges amongst humanity, who gets what, how do we identify the different groups, things of that nature, right? Like I said, the referees of the world, of society. And then now the church is the spiritual guide of it all, which is the foundation of every nation. So that's the hidden hand at the top. That's running the scenes. So how do all of this tie into Pan-Africanism and the different deities that are being worshipped? Also, as well as the ideologies that are associated with those deities as well. Today, we're going to be doing what we always do, which is syncretism. to show you the similarities between Kemetism and Christianity. Also a little bit of Hebrew Israelite ideologies, and again, Pan-Africanism. But as promised, let's do our reading, and I'm gonna screen share just so you guys can read along with me. Well, let's talk about the Code of Hammurabi, which basically is the Sumerian version of the Ten Commandments and all of these stoned inscribed laws that laid the foundation for humanity. They still practice that today in government. Let me just show you this before we start reading. Just to show you that this is not just an ancient practice. This is still a practice that we utilize today. It was a common practice. So in a lot of courthouses, you'll see these the laws carved in stone. Let me see if I can find one. Modern courthouses. I want to find it just so you can familiarize yourself with the fact that when we talk in mythology, there's truth behind it, but you don't know how to. You haven't been taught how to interpret it. So some of you may in your cities been in the courthouse, and there's a little section where you got these little stone pillars and all of that crap to show you like laws, or even let me see. All right. All right, and if I can't find it, then maybe some of you guys can find it at some point and put the link out there. And I think up there at the Washington Monument with Abraham Lincoln, they got different laws. Something it looks similar to this. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But different temples around the world wasn't necessarily temples. They were actually courthouses. So one thing about the ancient temples that I didn't tell you about in the introduction was that all of the families that belonged to the aristocrat was able to take turns renting out the temple to have certain functions where they could charge people to support their family. That was another function of the church. They still do that today, but they don't let people just make money like that. Well, vendors make money, but that's an ancient thing. So one thing I wanted to point out, if you look at this Abraham Lincoln building, if you look at this building, this is the Supreme Court, right? Now, the crazy thing about the Supreme Court, if you wasn't born in America and you were to visit the world in the year 3000, you would say the Supreme Court is a temple. You see? Why am I telling you that? Because a lot of the buildings that we think were ancient temples, legal proceedings were carried out in those buildings. They were ancient courthouses. Now here's the ancient temple of Bashamim in Palmyra. And if you look at this ancient temple and compare it to the Supreme Court, you can see now the connection between church and state. See, this go back to Hellenistic time, Greco-Egyptian time, when written law first started to appear on earth, because prior to this, it was an oral law. And that oral law was just one law. It wasn't a bunch. Even the 42 laws of Ma'at are patriarchal and Johnny come lately. Because prior to all that, you had one law that governed the entire universe, and it was only one law. It wasn't no 10 laws, 42. It was one law that governed the entire universe. You know what it was? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That was translated to the Dogon into a symbol. Check this out. If you look at the Dogon Kananga, what you're looking at is give and receive, reciprocation. Let me show you reciprocity, balance, meaning that if the top has is do unto others, the bottom has is as you would have them do unto you. It's like a handshake. That's the only rule you need in the cosmos, and everything will be perfect. Think about it. I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. That's why you only have one rule. And this was the yin yang to the Hindu, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The serpent in the middle is the as, the glue, the transition. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's the code of the Kananga. You see what I'm saying? So think of ping pong. It's like banking it back and forth. If you hit me, I hit you back. If you give me something, I give you something back. This is also the foundation of laws like karma in the Hindu. Karma is just the same thing, right? What you get, you put out. Do unto others as you have them do unto you. You don't need no other laws with that. Now, with that one law, you ain't got to sit up there and say, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not smoke, thou shalt not look, thou shalt not cook, thou shalt not stand, thou shalt not shit, thou shalt not fart, thou shalt not be musty, thou shalt not stink. Let me quit playing with y'all. You get my motherfucking point. Excuse my language. You got 100 damn thous. Thousand Island. The God of the Bible like Thousand Island on his salad. You didn't need but one rule. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you. That's it. That go for animals and everything. So let's get back on track. We can start reading now. Now that we understand that most of these temples were courthouses. Now I'm decoding the matrix for you. Opening up your third eye with the symbols as well. Let's read. Let's talk about the codes that govern the world today, which are very patriarchal. We're going to get into that as well. The Code of Hammurabi refers to a set of rules or laws enacted by the Babylonian king Hammurabi, who reigned from 1792 to 1750 BC. You can see those laws on this huge pillar, and you have a biblical version. You also have a Kemetic version, but right now we're doing a Sumerian version. And what you got to realize is, like I said, these stone carvings of the God's law was in every continent. You can find, they got the emerald, what they call it, the emerald tablets, another form of some God writing his laws in stone. During ancient time, the gods wrote their laws in stone. And they put them up in a place in the city where everybody can see it, so won't nobody be able to plead innocence of the law. We're about to read about that in a minute, okay? So this was a common practice, Christians. It wasn't exclusive Christians, because it was a literal thing that was going on. I'm trying to get you out of mythology. The God was a real dude. So let's keep reading though. The code governed the people living in his fast-growing empire. By the time of Hammurabi's death, His empire included much of modern-day Iraq, extending up from the Persian Gulf along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. There are as many as 300 laws that discuss a wide range of subjects, including homicide, assault, divorce, debt, adoption, tradesman fees, agricultural practices, and even disputes regarding the brewing of beer. Same shit, y'all. The world ain't changed at all. It goes on to say, the code is best known from a stele made of black diorite, more than 7 feet, 2.25 meters tall. That is now in the Louvre Museum in Paris. The stele was found in the site of Susa in modern-day Iran by excavators who were led by Jacques de Morgan at the beginning of the 20th century. Scholars believe that it was brought to Susa in the 12th century BC by an Elamite ruler who was subsequently erased a portion of it in preparation for creating an inscription of his own. Originally, Hammurabi would have displayed the stele at the site of Sippar in modern-day Iraq, likely in a prominent temple. In ancient times, the temple was the courthouse and the law was in the court. The judge was the God. Why was the God? Listen. Thank people. Why was your God in the Bible called the judge? I want you to look at this God Shamash. Have you ever seen him? Let me show you what this God looked like. So you can see why I say this is Norma. You already know Norma is also Osiris, right? Another form of Norma is Osiris. Now let's do some research here. Let's pull up we'll pull up Norma on his throne. And let's do a little bit of syncretism before we move any further with the reading. You don't let these Kemetic folks lie to you. They're trying to get you to pay honor to a deity who is responsible for putting the world in turmoil today. This is the god Shamash. The Sumerians worshipped him as the god Shamash. Look at him sitting upon his throne. Who do you see coming to greet Shamash, which was the sun god? 3 wise men. Don't this sound familiar? This sounds like Jesus, right? I told you we're going to be syncing it all together. Jesus is a form of Shamash who sits upon the throne. Jesus is a sun god. Jesus was visited by 3 wise men. Let's check out Osiris in Egypt. I be damn, it's the same shit. The 3 wise men are visiting Osiris as well. The story is not unique to you Christians. Everyone is under the New World Order, and Bro Sanchez just here to wake you up. Hit the like button. You can see where we get the American flag right here on this guy's throne. We're in this form of government today. We're under the codes of Hammurabi. Now, these codes cannot stand without the scientific theology and the religious mythologies. And in a minute here, we're going to be going a little bit deeper to show you how the scientific and religious ideologies foundate the political structure and the purpose it served with the New World Order and United Nations agenda. So remember that the agenda of the New World Order was to make the whole world worship the same God, right? Come on, people, we woke. We've always said that about the UN. We said they want one world, one God. Now, when it all happens, you won't know it happened, silly. You think they're that dumb that when they bring the New World Order agenda upon you, you're going to say, oh, there go the New World Order agenda. You think they're going to have commercials that say, we're now enforcing a New World Order agenda. They're going to sneak it upon you. You're not going to even know you in it. Now, when you look up today, And you see what I'm showing you? The whole world literally worships the same God under different names. They succeeded at the agenda. So now we see the three wise men visiting the God. This was a literal dude that lived during his time. Same story with Shamash. Now in the Bible, this God is called Ham, and that's why we're discussing the code of Ham. This is the code of Hammurabi. Why is this important for black people? Darwin explains the missing link. They needed a system to make all of the different quote unquote races of humans agree to the foundations of their theology, and that was evolution. The people with the most potent spiritual system that exposes all of the secrets of nature and connects us with the cosmos are in Africa. I'm not saying Africa is the motherland. I'm saying that out of all the continents we know about, Africa is the richest in spiritual systems because of it's the most diverse continent. So you're gonna have different spiritual systems, but all of these different spiritual systems are different people saying the same thing. Now, the important thing about understanding all of this is the reason why they had to pan the African spiritual systems under the god Pan. Remember, the goat god Pan is another form of Shamash or Ham right here. He takes on a goat form, a lamb form, a lion form, many forms. In fact, this God sitting on his throne, the early Africans were forced to worship this God. Let me show you. I'll show you his early African form before we read some more, just so we can all be on the same page here. Just give me 1 second to pull it. One second. Okay, 1 minute, people. I'll be right with you. I'm pulling it right now. Here it is. This is the origin of the Baphomet. You see, if you look at this God on the left, what you must realize is this statue that you see on the left is the oldest Baphomet statue on the earth. I'm going to say that one more time. This statue that you see on the left with the black man, this is why they say the black man is the Ham, is the progenitor of humanity. Another name of this statue is Yahshua or Yashu, which the Islam called Yaqub, because the CH also can be pronounced KK. So Yaqub or Yeshua, this is Christ, y'all. Now, they told a story about him. He led Santa's sleigh. His name was Rudolph. But we ain't gonna even go into Norse mythology. What you need to point out is there's so many forms of this God. I'll show you a few. What you want to need to know is his erected phallus. Now, the word erection is where we get the word resurrection. The word resurrection is a blend of two words, rise, erection. If you look at the Baphomet, that's exactly what he got, a rise erection. A rise erection, right? Now, one thing about this too is the earliest, like I said, the oldest Baphomet statue on the face of the earth is right here in Africa. And then I can show you other forms of it around the world, Sumerian griffins and things of that nature. And I could show you many forms of Shamash before we get back to the reading. So he had many names, Priapus, Serapis, right? You see it here. The god Men for the minions. This god was known for his erection. All around the world, he was known for his erection. I got news for you. It's the same thing today. All around the world, he's known in many religions for his resurrection, his resurrection powers. He told you he can resurrect you. Remember that the word resurrection. How can a man give birth to you? Through the phallus, they call it rising and erection, right? Now, it's all linked to resurrection, because if you were to be born through a man, he would have to have a womb on a rib like Adam, one in the head like Zeus, or you would just come straight from the phallus out of a risen erection. You would resurrect out of a resurrect. Let me quit. You see the paradox in it. So we understanding this is advanced etymology. The Vatican is built in honor of the god Men, his phallus. And they give your kids cartoons to corrupt them. Now, maybe I shouldn't have a minion right there. You got the Federal Trade Commission want to stop people from using cartoons on videos like this. But it's to stop me from teaching you the truth to help your children. They're corrupting your children with sick cartoons and then get mad at me for exposing it and say he's perverting the children. No, why do you have a cartoon called a minion, which is named after God with an erected phallus who was named Men? And the sacred geometry is all synced up right there on the screen. Horus is also Jesus. Resurrection or risen erection is a form of arousal or arouse. The word arouse comes from the word eros. Eros was the Cupid, and the Egyptian form of the Cupid was Horus the hawk. The word Horus, remember the H is silent, so it's Horus. Horus is Eros, the Cupid. The Greeks and the Egyptians had the same systems. They just interpreted in different dialects. Same thing we doing today, Kemetic people and Christians, Pan-Africans. That's why I got to show the people agenda. I got to show my people the agenda to wake them up, y'all, because they targeting me and they trying to silence me. But all of these divisive Pan-African pro-black channels can keep their content up. They can not face punishment. Look at here. Here is another form of the Baphomet in ancient Kemet. It's called a goat of Mendes. The root word of Mendes is men, in honor of the god Men. That's a form of the god Men. They used to have a deodorant called By Menin. They're naming it after the god Men. Dealing with another form of Jesus, because we want to expose the Pan-African agenda before we do any more reading. Another form of Jesus is the Egyptian god Happy. And you can see him here with the fishes and loaves. Christians, you thought that story was just yours, didn't you? Nope, the god Happy fed the doggone people with the fishes and loaves too. We got to expose these Pan-Africans coming over here, retrapping our beautiful people, the minds of our beautiful people, with the same thing Pastor Pochop doing, telling you they exposing him when they doing the same shit. They breaking you out of his goddamn house to lock you in their basement. I'ma say it again. They breaking you out of pastor house to lock you in their basement. They ain't freeing you. You're going from what? All the CO doing is giving you a cell change, nigga. You ain't getting free. They just changing your cell. Light work. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. We got a lot of reading to do. Let's read it. It's talking about the code of Hammurabi. And the reason is all based upon black people and Ham is because, like I told you earlier, the United Nations are united. All of the governments of the world are united and conspiring against the people. That's why you call me conspiracy theory, but they the ones conspiring against us, you fools. These people are united, but out of their chaos, they need order. So out of everything they got us divided with, they have to unite us on a spiritual level. Because when it comes to taking all that divisive energy and collecting it, that's where the religions come in at. I want you to think about what I told you. How do you collect divisive energy? You divide the people up in so many different aspects of society, science, you name it, culture, you name it, right? But you unite them on a foundation of religion and science. People go to war on all these differences, Allah versus Jesus, but the Muslim and the Christian both agree with the Big Bang Theory. I'm gonna let y'all think about what I just said. How is that possible? See, the thing about it is this. The universe wasn't born from darkness. The etymology behind darkness is you don't know something. In other words, a fool is in darkness. They're telling you that the universe was born from stupidity. That's why it had to evolve into smartness. And actually, that's true vice versa. It's true, actually, the opposite way around. But anyway, the word womb became misinterpreted over time as darkness. Yeah, today we say the womb represent darkness, but the womb represent life, which is light. So it can't represent them both. We know out of darkness come light. But if the womb is always overflowing with life and the flashlight is never off, you never see the darkness. In other words, all of these sun gods we worship in today, in early religion systems, the goddesses personified the sun as well as the moon. During this time, the man served as a companion to the goddesses. The roles have been reversed today. So the man was created to keep the woman company, hence the word companion. Now, when you read the biblical story, they flipped it on you. They told you that the man was created. They told you that the woman was created to keep Adam company. They told you Eve was created to keep Adam company, when really in the earliest spiritual systems, it said that actually the man was created as the woman's companion. Now, the reason is all based upon black people is because, like I said, the United Nations are united. They needed something to tie together all of that divisive chaos into an order out of chaos. So the chaos is the political aspect, but the order is the church. You get it? Good cop, bad cop on a spiritual level, though. Fuck the government, but I love the pastor when he doing the same thing the politician doing. They running you in circles, pimping your ass. And you believe in the politician just like the pastor. So the thing about it is they play off of each other to govern the different aspects of what make you human. The social interaction that makes you you, the spiritual interaction. They got to have a puppet on each of these dimensions. It's all founded on the scientific and spiritual aspects. That's why we're talking about Pan-Africanism. Because when you talk about Pan, you're truly talking about a religion, keeping in mind that the god Pan is a goat god. So Christians call themselves Christians because they're named after a god called Christ. Christ is also a goat god. They call him Capricorn. From the Capricorn family is where you get the lamb. It's where you get the goat. From the Capricorn family. And you got some nigga named Colin Kaepernick milling down and he's revering the Baphomet. Now let me show you a little bit about Capricorn and we'll move on and we'll read some more. This is how this relates to Christ. A ram is part of the Capricorn family. You know that they all are rams. In Egypt, you got the rams all over the place. You had a Pharaoh Ramses, St. Louis Rams. Why do the Christians and Kemetic people like the same thing? Why is there a pyramid on your dollar? See, Christians name themselves after their God, Christians after Christ, and Pan-Africans name themselves after their God, which is Pan, the same God, my people. Why do you take the same poison from two different sources? If you take that poison from two different sources and see the same reaction, why would you continue to take it? When you take the ideology of Pan-Africanism, you get the same results as you get in the Baptist church. Nothingness, running in circles, shouting and hooping, hollering, going nowhere, believing in things that don't manifest to serve you, putting your money into vanities and buildings and things just like pep rallies. That's what the church is, choirs and vendors and book selling, and we never fix the problem. Shit, it's getting so bad, but the conferences are getting bigger and the events are growing. Order out of chaos. See, on the surface, we in hell, but we suspend ourselves for brief moments every Sunday in these temples, in these churches, at these conferences, yelling black power. You ain't no different than a Christian yelling hallelujah. It's the same dope that they got you up under, addicted to, and you get the same reaction. Your Pan-African is no different than a Christian, no different than a Hebrew Israelite. Now, what do they all got in common? A disdain for the woman. Look at the God of the Bible. Look at the guys in Egypt. Look at the Pan-African dialogue. Look at these guys with the damn beards on their face. And listen to what they say about women. What I'm saying might go over y'all head. You might not even think about this. If you think about the big YouTubers, I'm telling you, the growing of the beard that you see the Hebrews do, that's a tradition that come from Ham. That comes all of the, why you think they call him Abraham? Abraham had the same beard that Norma had. Before we read, let me show y'all something. See, all of these different gods personified themselves the same way. Just like all Masons strike the same poses and all Illuminati people do the same symbols. Let me show you something. They were called bearded deities back in the day. So growing a beard out is something that Hebrews talk about. A lot of dudes in the conscious community, open up your eyes. Look for dudes with the beard on their face like this and listen to what they saying. Tell me they don't talk like them Arabs do. Now, a lot of people accuse Tommy Sotomayor of being hard on women. Now, I rock with Tommy, but I'm just pointing out the symbolism, all right, of people with these beards. DJ Just Jeff and just, you know, the Hebrew Israelites said it. Just different people with we Santa Claus had this beard, and remember, Santa Claus is Shamash or Normer. The tradition of growing a beard is important for me to point out to you. That come from the Sphinx. So this beard, they called him the bearded. He was a bearded deity. See, let me show you something. The pharaohs back in Egypt didn't grow their beards like these fools doing today. I swear to God, I'm not lying to you. The pharaohs in ancient Egypt did not grow that beard like these dudes doing today with them big old beards. Guess what? You can clearly look at this image and you can tell it's not a natural beard. It's not a natural beard. If you do your research about ancient Egypt, I'm not making this up. What you will realize is that the beard that you see on the pharaoh was attached to his headdress like a chin strap. Prove me wrong. These folks don't do enough research. This was an article. Why did the pharaohs wear false beards? Let me tell you something about the pharaohs. Not only did the pharaoh wear fake beards, they were clean shaven and they put makeup on, eyeliner on, and lipstick. Look at the damn tomb. These dudes today telling you that they being like the pharaoh when the pharaoh shaved. Listen, man, it's not hygienic to have a big ass scruffy beard on. I know a lot of women say that's masculine, that's primitive. Y'all talk about we come from cavemen. That's some caveman shit. Like our ancestors groomed themselves, dude. Because guess what? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a man. I'm a man. And when I grow my little chin hair real far, every time I shave it, it be dead skin under it from when you washing your face and stuff and you're not lotioning it, it's drying up in there. And guess what? It have a little smell to it. I'm not bullshitting. You know why? When you sleep, you slob down here. You wipe your face, but you ain't really getting good up in that beard hair. It's thick. Like you would have to shampoo your beard every morning to get that stank out. I'm serious. It's not hygienic to have a big ass Abraham beard. The pharaoh didn't even have it. They were smart enough to shave and shit and groom yourself. But they wore fake beards, and these guys today trying to look like Abraham with all these beards on. And that you know, it's when you go to the Middle East, you see a lot of Middle Eastern dudes with the long beards beating they women, talking shit about the women. And you look at the Hebrew Israelites, all of the Hebrew Israelites, long ass beards, and they talk shit about the women. Where are they getting this pattern from, this symbolism from? Of having a long beard and talking shit about the women. This I'm showing you from Samaria, Middle East, Greco-Egyptian time. There's a pattern to our behavior, guys, and I'm showing you the history of it. Do that look like a real beard to you dummies out there with the bird doodoo beards? Because I'm telling you right now, my uncle had a big ass beard one time. He was talking to us, and we was looking at it like some lint in, there's some lint in his beard. But we ain't think nothing of it. But when we looked closer, it was some bird doo-doo in his beard. bird doo-doo in the beard. Shave that shit off, Santa Claus. Damn, groom yourself. Now, let's move on. Then, you know, when they grow that shit out, they do this all day. They just rub it. They just sit there and all you hear is I feel what you're saying. Yeah, dog. Shit sound rough, my nigga. Let's move on, man. Let's read. We got a lot of reading to do. But yeah, it was a chin strap, guys. It was a chin strap, not a real beard. Shave that shit off your face, boy. Groom yourself, niggas. Goddamn, daddy show up to school. Hey, Moses, your daddy? Abraham in the office to pick your ass up. Hey, shave that shit off so them kids can quit cracking, telling your children, hey, your daddy look like Moses. Hey, Abraham coming to check you out. Abraham in the office to check your ass out. Let's read. Let's read. I'm just joking with my brothers, man. I love y'all. We gotta be funny. Give me a minute. We about to continue our reading here about this code of Hammurabi. Now we understand why it's based upon Ham, why it's based upon black people, and the foundation for evolution and Darwinism. All right. So this is the glue for the New World Order agenda. And I'm giving it to you from a Pan-African perspective because that's what I was into, Pan-Africanism. So let me take a minute. So originally Hammurabi would have displayed the stele. Oh, we already read that. I think that we read that. No, let's read from there. Originally, Hammurabi would have displayed the stele at the site of Sippar in modern-day Iraq, likely in a prominent temple. In ancient times, Sippar was the home of the sun god Shamash, and the top of stele shows an image of Hammurabi before this god with rays coming from Shamash's shoulders. Scholars widely believe that other now lost steles would have existed in other cities in Babylon that were controlled by Hammurabi. So there are some lost tablets. And what do we say about, listen to me, people, y'all need to wake the hell up. I want you to think about what I'm about to say. We're reading from the Babylonian perspective that even in now this Babylonian law, this code of Hammurabi is basically another way of saying the Sumerian Bible, the Sumerian Book of the Dead. But the law was passed down through the procession of the gods. Now remember that the succession of the gods were literal people, not no mythology. Government was the church. So they handed these tablets down and they left room in case the kid had to scribe new laws on top of the ancestors. This was a common practice. This is important to know because the word Bible and the word code are synonyms. Did you know that? The word Bible and the word code are synonyms, which really translates to, in modern terms, Democrat and Republic, devil and God. That's how you get the word politics, which are people playing on the polar energies in nature to deceive you. This is how they create the division, playing on the polarities, black versus white, Democrat, Republican, man versus woman, you name it, right? So it's politics. Now, remember what I told you, when the church ruled over the masses, there was no government. So you didn't have Democrat, Republican. What you had was devil and God. You see what I'm saying? So it's crazy that the Republicans, the word republic kind of represent justice in a way. And the root word of Democrat is the same root word as demon. But that's just another something else on a side note. But remember that the word cold, when you say code, CO deals with two, like cooperation, companion, co-op, code. It's the same thing as Bible, code, buy is code. Bi is code. Right? If you're bisexual, that means you're attracted to two sexes. So this thing about Bible and the code of Hammurabi, who started the biblical pantheon after Adam? Not who started the biblical pantheon, I'm sorry. Who was called a father of Christianity? Abraham was called a father of Christianity. You know why? This was during the time the law started to be formed. So Abraham gave birth to the law, which made him the father of Christianity. Another name for Abraham was Ham or Hammurabi. People told his story at different times, and it turned into different characters in the Bible and different testaments, which are just different generations telling the same story. All of these stories in the Bible are the same story told in different times. Read them. I ain't lying. All right, so smoke break, man. Shout out to my sister, Dita Linda. That's a pretty name. Thank you, my sister. Appreciate that. Let me give a shout out to Sir Drop TV. Much love, my brother. Much love, Mind's Eye. Swin Flame, much love. Appreciate the donation, guys. Let me hit this thing real quick, and we're gonna read on. We got a lot to go over. Then I'm gonna take Q&A at the end. We're gonna do Q&A. So, where were we? So the top of the stele shows an image of Hammurabi before this god, with rays coming from Shamash' shoulders. Scholars widely believe that other now lost steles would have existed in other cities in Babylon that were controlled by Hammurabi. Stop a minute. More syncretism that I meant to add. What do the Sumerian account have in common with the biblical account and in common with the Pan-African account? What do all these have in common so far, and as well as the Hebrew Israelite account? What does all these have in common? They all missing some of their laws. They're all missing some of their books. Let me explain. We know that the Bible missing a lot of books. We ain't got to talk about that. There go your Christians. Now, what did we just read right here? We read that the Code of Hammurabi is missing books. Now, what do the Pan-Africans tell you about a lot of African science and a lot of African laws? Well, man, a lot of our temples was tore up, and we missing a lot of knowledge. We missing a lot of science. Why everybody saying the exact same shit? I'm talking about, and they doing the exact same thing under the exact same spell, under the exact same God. And the reason they all telling you they missing some books, because it's the same story written in different dialects and different deities. If I'm giving you the same story in Chinese, Italian, and all of these different races, and as a part of the original version where there's books removed, and you translate that to the world in different tongues, everybody gonna be missing the same part of that book, man. I'm sorry. If I take a movie and I cut out a certain part of the movie, then I record that cut out version and make a different version for Chinese, Italians, and everybody. Even in a translated version, that part gonna be cut out with theirs too. That's why everybody's saying the same song all around the world, same song. I am bringing back the investigator's mind to my people. Now give Sherlock Holmes a hand. Told y'all, you're gonna have to start calling your boy Indiana, the Black Indiana Jones round this mother freaker. So let me read this. Let's keep reading. So after Hammurabi's death, his system of laws became something of a classic in the ancient world. Don't this sound like Jesus? Don't this sound like every other god around the world? They died and left laws and instructions before what to do. Secrets on how to get through the underworld. That's what Jesus was teaching. And guess what? That's what the Kemetic people was teaching. That's what Osiris story represent. The book of the dead in Kemet. What the hell you think the Bible is? The book of dead people. What the hell you think the code of Hammurabi is? After Hammurabi's death. These are books of the dead people. Dead people who's living on through the laws that they passed. Ain't that's what presidents doing? Laws that George Washington and every president passed, is you still got to follow today. If George Washington followed the law, if George Washington made a law back then, just because it's 2019 don't mean you can break it today. Now, we know the government break the Constitution, break a lot of shit all the time, but we talking about traditionally, technically, you know, what really how it's supposed to go. Like, another president shouldn't be able to come behind another president and say, I'm going to undo his law. You can't do that. That ain't never how that happened in back during this time. You couldn't undo it. The shit was in stone. But anyway, let's keep on moving. Yeah, this is where we get the terminology written in stone from, in case you haven't peeped that yet. Now let's keep going. So after Hammurabi's death, his system of law, damn, I just thought about it. The name Hammurabi is Ham in Arabic. This god is the Arabic version of Ham. So the name is Hammurabi, or Arabic Ham. Let's keep reading. After Hammurabi's death, his system of laws became something of a classic in the ancient world, and scholars have found examples of them written on tablets, which were copied as late as the 5th century BC, more than a millennium after Hammurabi's death. The term, quote-unquote, Code of Hammurabi is a modern one, so named after the 19th century, quote-unquote, Code Napoleon. Scholars today debate the meaning behind the stele that is now in the Louvre and whether the rules Hammurabi enacted truly represent a full law code. Regardless of the answers to these questions, Hammurabi himself states in the prologue to his laws that his right to make them was one given by the gods themselves. You know, when you read in the Bible and it say, come, let us go down and make man or something like that in Genesis, and everybody asked the question, why was it plural? In Genesis, it say, come and let us go now and make man or something to that nature. It speaks about let us. These were real government officials talking over a real law book. So let's keep reading. Regardless of the answers to these questions, Hammurabi himself states in the prologue to his laws, okay, we read that. Anu and Enlil ordained Hammurabi, a devout prince who fears the gods, to demonstrate justice within the land, to destroy evil and wickedness, to stop the mighty exploiting the weak, to rise like Shamash over the mass of humanity, illuminating the land. The new complete code of Hammurabi. That was where that translation was from. So it goes into now, we go into another section where it starts explaining these laws, right? And this is where it gets fun. Stay with me. Each law consists of a potential case followed by a prescribed verdict. The verdicts could be very harsh indeed, and Columbia University Professor Mark Van de Merel notes in his book, King Hammurabi of Babylon, Blackwell Publishing 2005, that the death penalty is listed as punishment no fewer than 30 times. Damn. So we know we're dealing with medieval times here, people. We're still in the medieval times here. Now, it was the punishment given even for the quote unquote, the theft of temple or palace property, or when a runaway slave is given refuge. Yeah, slavery was permitted under these laws. That's why people say, why do the Bible condone laws? Because they literally think the Bible is the word of some God in the sky, when the biblical God was the supreme ruling government during that what we call aeon. The Lord of the Bible would have been the greatest contributor to the agenda of those dynasties. When you talk about the Hall of Fame, they have a ranking list to that, meaning number 1, number 2, number 3 Hall of Famer number. What number are you in the Hall of Fame, so to speak? So same thing, the elites let the greatest contributor, greatest governor to their dynasty be embodied as an ascended master. And children, generations and generations will worship him. And that's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing today. All right? None new under the sun, right? Read some more. Furthermore, the punishments ordered were by no means uniform, but rather depended on the social status of the accused and the accuser. I'm going to read that again. The punishments ordered were by no means uniform, but rather depended on the social status of the accused and the accuser. Ain't that the same system we under today? I told y'all we under Babylonian law. Hit the fucking like button. I bring you the best information out there. Read this again and think about today's court system. Think about what you're reading. I'm going to read it slow. The punishments back then under the code of Hammurabi were not uniform, meaning that some murderers got off and some people who were innocent is locked up. Ain't that how it is today? Man, they say over 30% of people behind bars are innocent. Boy, that's a close number to have, dude. They get you to think, well, that ain't nothing. Dude, that's 30%. That's almost 50. It shouldn't be that many. And man, that shit ought to be like 5%. That's a lot of innocent people locked up, G. Same system. Told y'all we under Babylonian law. I told y'all when you wake up, you realize, Neo, the Matrix is real. When Morpheus woke up, Neo realized that the year wasn't what he thought it was. In the Matrix, they told you it was 2012. Right now, I'm telling you, we still in medieval times. Back then, during this time, it's just like it is today. It's just like it is today. It say, I gotta read that one more time. The doggone verdicts depended on the social status of the accused and the accuser. Same thing today. Rich people get off. Poor people can't hire lawyers, so we cop a plea. That system ain't new, y'all. They was practicing back here in Babylon. Only thing new is they trying to put a wool over your eyes that we ain't in medieval times no more. When you really think about it, the world is pretty fucked up, man. It's really medieval out there. You sitting up here chilling, but it's some dude locked up right now, got 50 years and he innocent. It's some dude locked up right now, pled guilty for 10 years just so he won't get life, but he really didn't do nothing. 30 to 35% of people locked up can admit to that. Man, I'm really innocent. I took the 15 years because they was trying to give me 70. They was trying to give me life. That motherfucking system that we talking about now come from Babylonian times, Greco-Egyptian times. Everybody was practicing this system around the world. This was the United Nations. This was the birth of the New World Order. What do Pan-Africans tell y'all all the time? How was Egypt born? I'ma wait. How was Egypt born? Out of a unification. How was the United Nations born? Out of a unification. Egypt and America are united today under the United Nations. What I'm telling you is ain't nothing new under the sun. The United Nations technically started back here in around 5000 BC, in around 3500 BCE is when what we're calling the United Nations, that started back here when they started governing everybody under this code, under this religious law, under these gods around the world. This was when money, see, this where people don't realize. I want y'all to realize what I'm about to tell you right now. Take out a pen and paper. What I'm about to tell you right now is a nail in the coffin. I'm about to give you a nail in the coffin. They tell you that papyrus was invented in Egypt, but they tell you Gutenberg created the printing press, right? Now check how deep this is. Don't you know the papyrus that they used in Egypt was inscription writing? You know what inscription mean? Inscription mean that, hold on, excuse me. See, let me teach you comedic folks something. My dog's barking. I'm finna blow y'all ass away. Check this out. Hold up a minute. Hold on, people. See, here's the thing. Papyrus, when papyrus was created in Egypt, money was created. I want you to think about why that's so important. That's the nail in the coffin. People say the Bible come from Kemet. The Greeks didn't even have papyrus. Papyrus come from Kemet. The Greeks unified with the Egyptians. How you know, Brother Sanchez, how they knew how to make papyrus to even print the Bibles on? Who taught Gutenberg them how to make paper? Because they invented printers. So apparently they knew about paper, but what did they learn? Well, they stole the knowledge. No, they didn't. The Greeks and the Egyptians was unified, man. It was a melting pot. They was working together. It was rich versus poor. The pharaoh, it was black and white pharaoh. It was pharaohs of all colors, gods of all colors. And they all invented taxation and money. They needed an excuse to charge the people. So they created a religious system, which was the foundation of what we call politics today. Think about it. When the Bible was created, tithing was created. So money and the Bible was created at the same time, and they go hand in hand. So they started charging you. What does it mean when you charge a phone? You plug the phone in and you send power into the phone. How do they charge you? You plug into these religious beliefs and systems and they put a false power in you. A false power. It don't really empower you. It make you think you empowered. But you plugged into this false power source. So when they get you plugged into that for power, they can charge you for it and say this God requires 10% for his motherfucking energy. This was the first form of taxation, because when money was created, there was no such thing as government. People keep forgetting that. The system that would have ruled the earth would have been a medieval church-style system, even in Kemet. The pharaohs didn't have what we call a government system today. They had a religious system where everybody had to worship the damn pharaoh or die. This was medieval times, and they was doing it on every continent. All the gods was doing this, and they formed a union. And that union is why Pan-Africans say Kemet started off with Upper and Lower Egypt unified. Yeah, man, the Greeks was controlling one half, and the Egyptians was controlling one half of Kemet during the proto-dynastic time. Duh. So they stopped fighting and unified. The United Nations started when the Greeks unified with the Egyptians. That's what gave birth to what they call Greco-Egyptian times or Hellenic times. I got news for you. We still in those times today. That's why the pyramid on the back of your dollar. See, the Pan-Africans take American money too. All of these Pan-Africans come over here selling you the same Christian shit in a black way, getting you involved, you know, and they got finance companies and they got all kind of businesses going, and they are capitalists. Think about it. When you go to India, you see these wise gurus in India with the beards, like I was talking about, the Santa Claus beards, and they got all of this spiritual knowledge. But guess what though? They rich as fuck. The people is look, these people are paid so much, like the Pope. They live in palaces and shit. Just like TD Jakes and all of it. See, this is the religious foundation behind the Illuminati pyramid. Then the politics is built on top of that. And then the education system to come and teach you the Big Bangism and the scientific version of the Bible and the political legalese. Because it's the same law that they giving you in the courtroom that they was giving you in the Bible. Condemnation, not conviction. What do they do in America? They condemn your ass. What did they do to Bill Cosby? They didn't convict that man. They basically condemned him. And they used what we just read, his social status, to pass the verdict. This is Babylonian law, people, that we're under, and you got to understand what you're dealing with. Let's read some more. So it says on, we read on, it say, furthermore, I'm getting a little hot. Hold on a minute. So it say, furthermore, the punishments ordered were by no means uniform. We read that. I don't want to backtrack. Okay, so it's going to give us an example of some of the punishments. So if a member of the elite strike the cheek of a member of the elite who is of a higher social status than him, he shall be flogged in public with 60 strikes of an ox whip. That was one of, okay, now that's crazy because a lot of dudes get turned on sexually from getting hit with a whip too. Could that have something to do with the psychology of historicity of that? Just throwing it out there. Side note, women could not necessarily expect equal treatment either. Let me highlight that. Now, I just got through talking about this. How you got all of these dudes with the goddamn beard that's got a stigma against the woman. That was this God. See, this was the God that created the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. You see, that took the woman out the picture because of his disdain for the woman. If you see how the woman is portrayed in the Bible, I don't see how we got any women Christians today. If you want me to go into some of the symbolism about Father, Son, Holy Ghost, and a trinity of men, I can do that for you. It was called a triple phallus. Yep, I don't want to be too graphic, but I'll just give you an image. This is your Father, Son, Holy Ghost concept in the top left corner or in the bottom center. Black and white image in the bottom center. Got these three phalluses. This was called a triple phalluses. People worship this for a couple hundreds of years, and people don't even talk about the triple phalluses. This was during the time when they started demoting the goddesses. And that became Father, Son, Holy Ghost today, which is three dudes. Now let me show you a chematic form of the triple phalluses. Here's the god Happy, who goes by the name of Priapus. Now, I just showed you a collage a minute ago of the god Priapus right here, or the Baphomet. Where is it? Did I take it off? There he go, Priapus right there. In the top left, you had Priapus and Serapis. Apis was the name of the bull in Kemet, and we know that bull is Malak, or the Baphomet goat. We're going to be talking about this bull called Moloch in a minute, because this is another form of Shamash. And when you start talking about Moloch, we start getting into the scientific interpretation of the god Shamash. And this is, you can see him foundating himself as the God that gave birth to it all in the quantum universe. Because when they tell you that The molecule is the first fundamental building block of nature. The root word of molecule is Moloch. In honor of this God, you're getting a science that's synced to the religion system. That's why they tell you we come from atoms. And what did the Bible tell you? We come from Adam. Like I told you, it start off with the church, then you got the political system, then the education system. But it's the same occult system that we're under. All right, so let's move on. Here, now let's talk about these triple fallacies real quick. We're talking Pan-Africanism. This is all centered around a god Pan. You see him there in the bottom. Another name for the god Pan was Apollo. Now, what was a famous place where black people did our music at in Harlem? I'm going to let you answer it in the chat. Why did they name a famous place? What did they name the famous place in Harlem where a lot of these black singers got their first start at? It had a song we used to sing, and they rub on a stone when they come out. Come on, chat room. I want to interact with y'all because I don't see it moving. Yeah, I knew what the answer was. I just wanted to wake y'all up. See, what you got to realize is that the reason that was all Illuminati and occultic. Remember, all of them people on Apollo became what? Illuminati. The Apollo gave birth to over 12 black multimillionaires. I'm going to say it again. The Apollo gave birth to something, y'all. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. See, the sun god Apollo is Jesus. They all talking about giving birth. Adam gave birth to his wife. But shit, in science, the atom gave birth to the universe. You see the synchronicity, guys? Is your third eye open? All right. So the Apollo, they got us all under this god Pan, and that is the root word of panic and pandemonium. You know, when you get tense and you start panting. See, the goat god Pan had the legs of a hairy goat legs, but the upper body of a man, like you see Apollo. But if you ever see the goat god Pan, he's literally wearing pants. Right now, this is it. This what I'm doing is called advanced etymology. Showing you why we call things what we call them. The god Pan is where we get the word pants. If you look at the god Pan, you can see why we call pants. You can see why the root word of pants is pan. The root word of panties is pan. You know why? I know this gonna freak y'all out, but women ain't always wore panties. Earlier women let it dry, let the air, let it breathe. A lot of the problems the woman have with herself is because of panties. But let me break some down to you. When the Europeans invented panties, it was because during the time of these gods, what I'm telling you about, it was legal for a man to rape a woman if she wasn't married. So during this time, if I went outside and I saw a woman that I liked and she wasn't married, I can beat her up and do all that good stuff and rape her. So if you look at the chart, you can see the word rapist. One of the gods was Serapis, was a form of Pan. And Jesus said that he has a rapture. And the rapture is a form of Greek raping. See, this is what you got to realize. The god Pan in mythology went around raping children and women, animals and everything. Look up the word pansexual. That means you have sex with everything. The goat god Pan used to have sex with grass, holes in the ground, anything. Children, women, men. That's called pansexual. Because your sexuality is like the god Pan. So to make a long story short with our etymology, because it's important to get our etymology. Why are panties and pants have the root word of pan? When panties was first invented, now I know these stories are scary about some god going around raping women. What if I told you this was real? This was law during medieval times. That if a man looked upon a woman he wanted and she wasn't taken, he can go and get her. Force, impose his will upon her. Now check this out. So the world was it was a pandemic. It was pandemonium during this time because we were under the god Pan. So it was panic and chaos and pandemonium all the time. A woman, every day of a woman's life, she was in panic and pandemonium because of these laws that she can be raped anytime. She can become some dude's slave. You free 1 minute and some dude decide he like you. Now he got you a slave for life and he got a bunch of you, as many as he can catch, like cattle. This was what it was like. So check this out. When panties was first created, they wasn't no cotton panties that you just wore as undergarments. It was like a metal belt to prevent women from being raped. Because what started to happen was they had these crazy laws on the earth during this time. And a lot of people started breaking the law. They started raping women who was married. So the law say you can only rape the woman that ain't married. But a lot of niggas, you know how niggas is, catch her without her husband, they gonna rape her too because she's so fine. Can't even follow that law. They made a law because niggas couldn't control themselves and you couldn't even follow that. The only thing it asked was don't rape the married women. So because niggas started raping the married women, the husbands, the invention of panties was to stop women from panting. Hit the like button. You ain't gonna get this nowhere else. See, when a husband left his woman, she was panting because they was under the laws of Pan. A man can come in there and rape you. So the husband said, don't worry, baby. They have some new technology. That's why we sing about he got the master key. Today, what do we say? What do we say about our lover? We say, I got the master key to your heart. I got the master key to you. But this was literal shit. The early panties had a lock on them. I don't know if I can pull them up. I may can pull them up. I don't know if I'm calling them what they called them back then, but the modern word panties come from those. Oh yeah, damn, somebody corrected me. They say a chastity belt. Yeah, that's what it is. My bad. Yeah, it's called a chastity belt. That's what they called it back then, a chastity belt. A chastity belt. Today we call them panties. And the word panties come from the god Pan because the chastity belt was created because during that time they was under the laws of Pan or pandemonium laws. We basically still under them a little bit today, because rape is allowed by certain people who rich, and pedophilia and all that. So the word pants and panties was to cover up that area to prevent you from being raped. All right, so you had a double protection. That led to us wearing undergarments today. We kept the tradition, but really no one else in the world wear underwear. I'm serious. Put it this way. If you go to the United Nations and look at all the flags that's under the United Nations, all of them wear underwear. The Senegalese, the Bushmen, all of these people in the jungle, they got skirts on and they just let they stuff hang. And they reproduce better children than us. We most of y'all light-skinned, and then when you get naked, you black as hell around here. Okay. All right, hold on. Oh man, that's funny though, because y'all know that's true. But draws ain't natural, it's new. It's new world order, new. You used to it today. You may say, man, I don't like free balling. But that's what most of the world doing. It's just the modern people who still under the Babylonian code. Now, at this time, I'm going to take a break and we will get right back into Pangea, which is another scientific interpretation of this same God. It all started from Pangea. They want to sync everything from starting from him. See, if 2019 is an illusion, let's rewind time and let's go back to year one, day one. That's where the calendar is split by this God called Pan. Panic means a split, disruption. That's who split the calendar. Jesus, the lamb, the goat god, Capricorn. Give me a break, guys. I got to take a break. All right, guys, we gonna continue on with our Monday Mystery School. Make sure you hit the like button for your brother. And I'm going to keep my camera off for just a little while. And I'll cut it back on in a minute. All right. I'll cut it back on in just a minute. Okay, so let's talk about more syncretism with the god Pan, because I want you to be able to see the deception. You have to be able to see it, and you can't see it without etymology, syncretism, sacred geometry, right? Let's do it. So we're talking about different forms of the god Pan given to our people in different ways. They want you to think that it means different things, but it's the same law from the same deity, represent himself under a different lineage. All right? That's simple. The Bible ain't nothing but the royal succession or the royal families told to you in mythology. See, they've been tracking their succession through the mythos. So, all right, so let's continue. So, another form of the god Pan is the Egyptian god Happy. Now, if you take the H off of it because the H is silent, it would be Api. Remember that this god Api, I'll cut my camera on in just a second. When you see the word Api or Happy, Api, you see that in this collage. How many of you can see it? You got a god named Serapi, Serapi, Pre-Api, Pre-Apis, Api. We see that in a lot of these gods that sync to this deity. Api. Now, Happy, the god Happy is where we get our modern word happy, Happy. And there's something called a Happy Indian. And the Happy Indian worship the god that you see up there. He's called Kokopelli. The god Kokopelli is the Indian version of Serapis, or, Shamash. Again, this was the New World Order, not the New Region Order. Everyone in the world was forced to worship this god in their own way. That's the Indian version up there. So they tell you, well, this represent fertility. We don't call males fertile today. I'm sorry. I'm from the South. We use the word a lot. And we used to say, man, that girl fertile. She got all them eggs. Stay away from her. If you spit on her, she'll get pregnant. That thing fertile. That used to fertile. You know what I'm saying? Used to be the thing for a minute. I don't know if niggas still say that, if y'all say it, but often we used it for women. I never, hey, try to go up to your OG with that shit like, hey man, you fertile, nigga. You having all them children, you fertile. He probably look at you sideways like, damn. That don't feel right. He just told me I'm fertile. You know why I don't feel right? Because traditionally, the fertility festivals was all about the egg. And we do that with Easter now today. Remember, Ishtar was a male god who had eggs. But God doggone it now, how can males have eggs? But anyway, let's keep on syncing this stuff together. So Jesus said that he will come back to get everybody in a rapture. Now, did you know that the word rapture is also a blend of the words rape and capture? I told you Jesus was a rapist, the god Pan. What does they tell you about the rapture? It say Jesus is gonna come and catch you off guard, sneak up on you and like a thief in the night. and make love to you in the clouds. I'm not making it up. What it say gonna happen to you when Jesus gets you in the rapture? It say you gonna meet up in the clouds and rejoice with him. When you look up the word rejoice in the Bible, what it's talking about is a form of, when you meet somebody and y'all crying and you kissing lip to lip and you just, it's like like a friend, one of your best friends you thought disappeared, and you see him again in 20 years, like you're or some shit like that kind of rejoice. So it's kind of like a spiritual rape. Think about it. A man in the bed making love to his wife. Jesus come back and make love to them in the clouds. Like, dang, Jesus, I was just about to let me keep it clean. So they telling you Jesus is pan, you just ain't interpreted it right. Rapture is rape and capture. He's gonna capture you like a thief in the night and then rejoice in the clouds, that Greek word, another way of making love. Same story as Pan, but it's more graphic. They started to mask it now with Jesus. But anyway, let me get off of here because we gotta get back to the reading too, right? Let me clear some of this off of here. All right. So let's get back to the reading. So it say women cannot necessarily expect equal treatment either. We know that. So one law reads, if a finger has been pointed at a man's wife because of some male, but she has not been caught copulating with another male, she shall leap into the river for the sake of her husband. Golly. Yo, that's a different level of insecurity. That's a different level of insecurity. Did you hear that? Babylonian law. If they point out that a woman, it say if a finger has been pointed at a man's wife, they said, look at her. Because of some male, she flirting with that dude and she married. But she has not been caught though. Nobody got no evidence against her. They just saying, yo, she a freak. She over there just trying to buy oranges. But y'all saying she flirt with that man. She's screwing him. That accusation, according to Babylonian law, the punishment for that is a woman got to hop off into the river and drown herself. She got to kill herself, y'all. And they ain't got no proof on it, y'all. All a dude got to say is, hey man, that's your wife. I saw her. She's screwing that dude. And the husband will make her kill herself. Ain't this a weird, sick law? And they still do stuff like this in the Middle East today. And all them Middle Easterners, guess what they got on their chin? Bird doodle. Bird doodle. Remember that Santa Claus beard, man. Y'all boys better quit growing that thing on beard. That's some Greek pan god crazy crap, man. I'm gonna tell you what's funny. You ever seen a nigga with one of these big furry beards on try to eat some ice cream? And ice cream be falling all on that nigga beard and shit. And that nigga mouth look like a little squirrel or something eating that shit. It don't look like a mouth. It look like an animal eating. Let me quit. This ain't a good look, y'all. It ain't, look. They made that sexy today for you to go around looking like Moses, my nigga. But that shit ain't cool. It ain't hygienic, though. Yo, when the ice cream way sitting there, they ain't gonna feel it. Ice cream cold as fuck. But when the ice cream drop on some shit this thick, you ain't gonna feel it. It's just gonna dry up, get crunchy and hard. You gonna sleep on that shit. Your shit gonna have knots in it. I know the barber be finding Skittles and everything in niggas' beards. Let me move on, man. The practices that we practice, we don't know where the hell they come from, and I'm showing it to you now. It come from the god Pan. That ain't hygienic. Now let me say some more stuff. Excuse me, let me read some more. So having long beards and treating women like crap, I tend to be the pattern that we see in the Middle East. All right. Now let me see here. It say, on the other hand, a woman could depend, on the other hand, a woman could, depending on the circumstances, get an inheritance. There were laws protecting a woman in the event that her husband was taken captive in war and had to live with another man when her food ran out. Just like today, if you in the military and you die, they gonna take care of your wife. I'm just showing you we still in medieval times. People say back then they was doing all that crazy stuff to people. And you know, and back then, military didn't have laws that take care of your wife when you die. Yes, they did, even in medieval times. That's why I say we still in medieval times. Somebody be like, well, look at all the stuff we got today. The purpose of this presentation is showing you everything we do today, good or bad, or what you think good and bad, they was doing it here. All right, our system of living comes from here during a time when pandemonium was introduced to the earth, and guess what? It haven't stopped. We still in it. You think we've moved forward because they giving you the illusion of it, but we still in medieval times. That's what I'm trying to wake you up to right now. So let's keep on. So there were also laws that governed the support a temple woman should receive from her brothers after her father had died. So in the laws, it is clear that not only is there a burden on the accused, but also on the accuser should they be unable to prove their case. For instance, the penalty for homicide states that if a man has made allegations against another man and he has laid a charge of homicide against him, but is unable to substantiate his guilt, the one who made the allegations against him shall be killed. Damn. Wow. If you accuse a dude of committing murder and you show up in court and can't prove it, then they'll kill you during this time for wasting their time. Damn. Oh, that'll stop a lot of snitching, wouldn't it, though? Bet you wasn't no snitches back then. Hold up. All right, so judges were also held to a certain standard in the laws. Hammurabi ruled a vast empire and would not have been able to rule on every case himself. Vandy Marut notes that in the king's absence, a committee of men from the communities involved could act as a judge. Now we're talking about the formation of government. What did I tell you earlier in this live stream? That the gods was tired of doing all this work. Let me read this again. The god Ham, Yakub, right? The civilization started in Egypt. You call today's world civilized. That make you a fool if you think this poverty and all of this war and disease is civilized. You taking credit for it. Civilization ended in Egypt. Wake up, Neo, you in the Matrix. The robots been took over. Read here. Read, people. Read here. It says that because you had these gods ruling the land and they was judges. I want you to really, really listen to what I'm telling you right now, buddy. Oh man, Pan-Africans, I'm trying to free my people. I don't hate you, Pan-Africans. I just got to expose this Baphometic crap that's been keeping the world messed up for years, including my people. Everybody's. This is Uncle Sam today. Don't you know Uncle Sam is the Baphomet? Let me show you something before we move forward. We about to read, but I got to show you something. You see this God with the five-pointed star? That's the Baphomet. Look at his beard with the doggone beard on. Looking just like the Baphomet. Let me move some of these images. We about to go deep now. Nope, we don't want to play CNN video. Let me take some of this stuff off and I'll be right back. Well, you know, I ain't going nowhere. But let me see here. So Capricorn, you keep hearing me saying Capricorn because the Baphomet is from the Capricorn family. And the Capricorn goat is the Baphomet. So you got a car called a Caprice. If you look at the symbol for the Caprice, it's a goat or Impala. The Caprice is from the word Capernaum. The symbol for Chevy is a Christian symbol with Jesus' cross behind it. You can't see that that's Jesus on the cross. Look at the sacred geometry. I made this for you. Look at it. I know you see it, but it's people that are out there cognitive dissonance. So you got to blow it up in their face to make it undeniable. All right, so let me take all of this off so I can show you some more stuff to blow you away. Sometimes it seems like this stuff redundant, but it all plays its part, trust me. So where was I going with this? Let me read where I was going because it's going to show me. It's going to show you. All right, here. If you look at this God that we talking about, his name is Shamash. What do you notice about him? He's on a throne. What is a judge on? Hold on now. See, this God we looking at now is blasphemy because it represents the first male version of Ma'at. Now, you know that. Now, what you got to realize is this. Hold on. It take me a minute to pull what I need, but I got you. I got you. It's going to be worth the wait. See this God that I'm telling you about? He's able to give birth, which is a female trait. That's why I showed you Jesus on the cross, right? Because Jesus on the cross is him trying to personify the woman's womb, which is sick. Here's Ma'at. She represents the uterus, the womb of the woman. Keep this locked in your mind. Look at the judge hammer. You bang it, right? What do you do to the womb of the woman? Y'all, I'm a poet. That's why I can do this good. I'm a fucking poet. I'm a philosopher. Don't say, where you researched that from? I just got a mind. Don't ask me where I researched it from. Prove it wrong. Don't you bang this? I bang this. What does it shape like? The same thing the judge bang on. That's the noise of life. That's what keeps the order. That's what keeps the seed of humanity flowing. The cup that overfloweth. And they gave that to Jesus. Told you you covered in his blood when you covered in your mama's blood and you born from her. See, the judge ain't Jesus. The judge is your mama. You know why? Because if you look in nature, when a mother have a litter, like just say when a wolf have a litter or whatever, when a dog have a litter, she'll look them babies over, and if it's one of them sick, she'll kill it. A hamster, when she have a bunch of hamsters, she acting like a judge, like a military inspector. She gonna inspect you and see which one of you fit to be here and play God, and that woman and that female animal eat the weak one. so that she can focus on making the ones that strong exercise their maximum potential. Now, in a natural world, it'll go like that. You know how you got people in the family that's always in jail and mama keeps sending them $100 every month, but she won't give shit to the son that's actually doing something? It's backwards today. Think about what I'm telling you in relation to what I just said, how it tied together. So check this out. The judge costume with the robe on, and remember when they tell you Jesus is a judge? Well, check this out. Look at the God Shamash. Don't he got on a judge robe? Look at his robe. Here go his hammer right here. This just another form of the judge hammer. And that's his robe on his throne. See? It's the same God. That's why I'm pointing it out. Syncretism. Here go Osiris. Same thing. And his form of his hammer is his flask right here. He got a staff and rod and flask, whatever. And then just like a courtroom, you got a jury over here. This is like your jury area, right? You got the American flag and all that up there with the judge and the robe on. I'm telling y'all, we still in medieval times, man. Now let's read this, right? Let's read some more of this stuff. All right, let's skip around. It's a lot of stuff. I got too much to go over. All right, let's go here. Hammurabi was not the first ruler in the Middle East to write down laws. Dominique Charpin, a professor at École Pratique des Hautes Études in Paris, writes in his book, Writing Law and Kingship in Old Babylonian Mesopotamia, that scholars know of the existence of 3 law codes set down by kings that preceded Hammurabi. The oldest was written by Ur-Nammu, a king of Ur who reigned from 2111 to 2094 BC, about 3 centuries before Hammurabi. These older codes obviously inspired that of Hammurabi. In addition, Hammurabi would probably have drawn on his own personal experiences in putting together his laws, basing them in part on past cases that he ruled on. What else we need to look up? Okay, let's read this last verse. Another problem that researchers face is what was the purpose of the stele, now in the Louvre, that originally would have been displayed at Sapa. Charpin notes that even if one could read, the stele would be difficult to use as a reference to look up a law. Van der Meroop writes that the answer to this mystery appears to lie in the stele's epilogue, a section of writing after the laws were given. In it, Hammurabi makes 2 main points. One is that anyone in his kingdom could come to the statue, see the words on it, and understand his problem, and may he be content in his heart. In other words, it was a monument to the king's sense of justice and a way to make his subjects feel better when they felt they had been wrong. Stop for a minute. This king of kings that we're reading about, this great judge, was a statue. And during this time, people were told to go to this statue to make them feel better. Oh, y'all must want to see a picture of what the statue looked like, huh? Okay, no problem. I can show you the statue. His name is Serapis Priapus Kokopelli. See, the Indians went to Kokopelli to feel good. Just like people go to Jesus to feel good. He the God of resurrection, meaning he the God with the risen erection. They speaking a code over your head, and you the fool that ain't gonna wake up and read between the damn lines. Don't you know these people created sarcasm? Part of you being smart is understanding when people speaking over your head. Just like the minions are small phalluses speaking over your head. Hold on. All right, hold on. All right, now let's move on. So we see now the symbolism of why we talk the way we talk about judges and when Jesus was speaking on the cross back and forth to the thieves, this was the judge in between the defendant and the plaintiff. You got the judge in the middle, then you got the defendant and the plaintiff. This is how the woman's uterus is set up, like a courtroom. If you want to talk more about the great judge symbolism, I'll do one more thing before we finish that little passage. I'll do one more thing for you, just because I want to really drive it home. I want to drive the sacred geometry home. If you wait 1 minute, hold on. Now I got to find something real quick. All right, no problem. I got you. I'm gonna have to just put the two images up together. I got flat earth cosmology on the left. I got a courtroom on the right. I'm giving you the code. I'm exposing the agenda of the ops. I'm showing you who the ops is. It's the system. You in the matrix, Neo. The whole system. Everybody in cahoots with it. In these lodges, they discussing the code of the matrix, how to keep the sleeper sleep. These are the agents with the agenda. The agenda is to foundate all of their chaos on the order of religious ideologies. That's why everybody got the same gods, the same laws. All right? So if you look at the courtroom, the original law was based upon flat earth science. It was a natural law, matriarchal law. Go and look at her story to his story to find more about it and to go more into Narmer and the god Shamash. But as for now, I'm showing you how the law and order was kept through the womb of the woman. All right, be with you in just a second. I told y'all I'm the #1 symbologist in the world. I show you stuff in ways you never saw before, and I got to give myself credit because won't nobody else will. You would think they would have me on TED Talks by now, but it show you everybody pushing the heliocentrism. And all of the fear mongering. All right, let me open your eyes up some more. I got some more stuff for you. I just wanted to take a minute to get into the judge concept of this mythological deity, to get your third eye working with the symbolism, to see how it all relates. It's not hard to see the secret that the damn secret societies are hiding. This is the Da Vinci Code. We basically crack the Da Vinci Code. We cracking the Da Vinci Code right now. All right. This is the Merovingian symbol decoded right here, the flat earth cosmos. Matter of fact, I can show that to you if you want to get into. Maybe I'll do one on a Da Vinci Code and the Merovingian symbol. Let me write that down, because that's supposed to be the true lineage of Jesus on earth, but it's hidden behind a seal, and I can show you what they're telling you here on an esoteric level. So hold on, let me write that down. I'm gonna give y'all the Da Vinci Code one of these days. Hey, big shout out to my sister Didalinda. I love saying that name. Shout out to my sister. Appreciate that, everybody. I appreciate y'all's support. Everybody for the super chat donations. Also, everybody that's just throwing me fireballs, letting me know that you're tracking with me, letting me know we feel you, giving me more wind to go, right? Because we got a lot to go over. Okay, so check this out. So it goes on to say, remember I was telling y'all in my Council of Nicaea video and in my Her Story series how the statue Serapis was a law? I told you that that council passed a law that came with the statue. That's what they're talking about, but this is a Sumerian account. See, all of those council members would have been gods from all over the world. It would have been like an ancient United Nations meeting. That's what the Council of Nicaea was. But during the time of the council, there was no such thing as government. So Constantine basically called all of the gods all around the world to started to foundate the synchronicity of all of these deities around the world. And that was an ancient UN meeting, basically. But anyway, what was I? So let's start this from the top. Vandy Maroop writes that the answer to this mystery appears to lie in the Stelli's epilogue, a section of writing after the laws were given. And Hammurabi makes two main points. One is that anyone in his kingdom, we said that, smoking too much. Matter of fact, I might need to smoke now. Let me keep going. In other words, it was a monument to the king's sense of justice. We read that. So the second point the epilogue makes is that the kings who succeeded Hammurabi should not change or disregard these laws or try to alter the identity of the person who made them. That's basically confirming what I was telling you earlier, that when one king wrote a set of laws or carved a set of laws, the future children that carried his succession couldn't scratch them out. That's why they carved it in stone. If Daddy passed the law back in the day that he thought humanity should follow, why would it change today? That was their philosophy, right? So they carved it in, the pillars grew. These pillars grew. These tablets would be a bunch of tablets and pillars and all of that stuff like that. Now, let me write down something else real quick. Hold on, I'm coming back. Gotta make a note because I'm gonna have some good stuff coming up for y'all in the future. And it's dropping on my mind, stuff I need to do lectures on, so we can get further understanding. So if any future ruler does try to, scratch out one of the laws or break the rule against the succession in a family, right? If any future ruler does try this, Hammurabi puts a lengthy curse on them. I knew The father of the gods. Did you know that this Anu is the father of the Egyptian pantheon too? Anu is the father of Kemetic gods. Same thing with Samaria. Ain't none of y'all different from each other. That's what I'm proving. I ain't gonna let you get away with it. God put me on this earth to expose the crap. Now, part of the Pan-African religion that got my people in a warp is the Pan-Hellenic Council. From two words, the god Pan and the Hellenic culture. What is Hellenic culture? Greco-Egyptian culture, basically. The Hellenes. I just taught you about the Hellen. That's where we get the word heliocentrism from. They created this dumb solar system, this chaos, all of these asteroids and meteors and planets with acid rain and all of this scary stuff. Flat Earth is the truth. All of that heliocentrism is a hell-based doctrine. These people believed in a bottomless pit. So if you look at the solar system they're giving you, it's falling forever in a bottomless pit. Hellenes created heliocentrism. And also, one thing else, you look at their model, it's very chaotic. What is it based upon? Pandemonium, pan energy, panic. Everything about heliocentrism is to maintain a constant state of panic. We're dealing with pan energy, people. We're dealing with pan energy. It's the Pan-Africans are selling you global warming and all of that too, to keep you in panic. They all share the same theology and scientific foundation, but on a political surface, they act like they hate each other. Pan-Africans act like they hate white people. They got all the races divided, but in the lodges, they all worshiping the goat, and they got you worshiping the goat without you knowing it. So they got us spiritually united while ordering us with chaos, ordering us through the spiritual unity, chaos in the political arena. Because you got Islam fighting Christianity when Allah is Jesus. So they able to control it like a faucet and turn a war on and turn a war off by switching from between a political dynamic and spiritual dynamic. They use the political aspect to start the war, then they come in with the missionaries and religious aspect to stop the war. They got us trained like puppets, y'all. They tell us when to kill each other and when to stop. Like I said, the referees of the matrix, the agents, they are the ones, maintaining the construct. So we see that the top of Egyptian pantheon is Anu, which is the same for Sumerian, which is the same for Hellenistic culture. So Anu, the father of the gods, the one who has designated me to rule, will surely remove from him the splendor of sovereignty, whether that man is a king or a lord or a governor or a person appointed to some other function. He will smash his staff and curse his destiny. All right, so whatever that means is interesting, though, quite poetic. But anyway, you read about this god Shamash in the Epic of Gilgamesh, and in the future, I'll be maybe doing something on that as well. So one thing we want to point out about Egypt and the Sumerian code of Hammurabi, the law that was the 42 laws of Ma'at wasn't written on papyrus. Right? It was written on stone. I'll show you. Here go the 42 laws of Ma'at. All of the laws are written in cuneiform, or what we call hieroglyphs in our terms, or a form of hieroglyphs, And this here is where we get the 10 Commandments, the Code of Hammurabi. But what happened was, over time, they replaced the goddess Ma'at with the god Ma'azda, Ahura Mazda. So they replace. So this is when men now started to personify the uterus. So now, for the first time after this big council, after the unification, we have the first male deity giving birth. And that became a form of government under this god. You call it Uncle Sam today, the Baphomet. All right. This goat god is the first male god worldwide. This was the United Nations, guys, the ancient form of the UN. This was the ancient foundation of the New World Order that's governing us today. And when I say New World Order, I didn't say new city order. I'm not talking about a new county order. I said a new world order. All around the world, you see these things going on. So this was when the woman was demoted. And now we started to take on the man last name. So we went from Ma'at to Ma'azda, the god Saturn with the ring, Lord of the Ring. This is the Lord of the Ring, or the Viking god Odin that they speak of. Odin to the Norse is Otin or Aten to the Egyptians. The god Odin is spelled Aten in Egyptian. The Egyptians don't say Odin. They spell it Aten, but O is A. Remember, the Norse people don't necessarily call him Odin either. They say the god Odin. To be quite frank, the god Odin, they have a kind of a with it too. So Odin, the dialect changes when it goes to the Egypt, and Odin becomes Aten, the god Aten, in to the Kemet, Aten, or it's Odin, right, to the Norse. Now, let's see if there's anything else I missed, because I think it's time for Q&A. We definitely got to save some time for the people to get their we can do a part 2 to this too. I don't have to cram it all in one session. So I'm going to just end it right there. I think it's a pretty good ending point, you know what I'm saying? So the Masonic 2 pillars, right? One more thing before we get out of here. Before I start the Q&A. God Shamash. One more thing first. Hold on. I forgot to break down the symbols on his throne. So if you look at the throne of Shamash, what you see are 2 lions. You see the 2 lions right here? Those in Freemasonry are called the 2 pillars of Freemasonry. Hit the like button. No one else gonna give you symbolism like this. I told you I'm number 1. I pride myself in this stuff. I stay up many nights. I ain't getting no sleep at all last night. So if you look at this Masonic interpretation, this would be the North Pole and the sun and the moon and the flat earth. What they're showing you with the checkerboard is everything is divided by square acres. You can't divide up a globe into squares, people. Did you hear me? If I gave you a basketball-shaped cake and I told you to make every slice a perfect square, you wouldn't be able to do it. Some slices will have that dome on them. You can't divide up a globe into square acres, square mileage. But you can divide up a plane, a flat plane, into square checkerboard, longitude and latitude. Time for us to start thinking, people, if we want to be free. Now, if you look at this Freemasonic pillar, you have a ribbon and you have a all-seeing eye. And what you're looking at is the god Mazda. Okay, let me get him up here one more time. And then we'll start the Q&A. You look at the god Mazda, he's only going to show you one eye. All of these gods are notorious for showing you just one eye, because this is what the Illuminati is showing you, one eye. The minion has one eye. Let me show you something about the god Happy. I told you the god Happy is also Aten or Odin or Shamash, Mazda. How many eyes is the god Happy showing you? See, the word gay come from the word happy. And if you look at this god, I mean, look at his hair. That's a woman style, people. He got an eyeliner on, lipstick on, and he got his hair cut like, in fact, I like to see women with that little short style. They cut the bottom like that. But this dude trying to look feminine. And he got flowers in his hair, right? And that's all I'm saying. This is the god Happy. The word happy is also gay. No shot at gays. We love you. Please don't flag the video. There's all kind of laws out there. But I'm just giving the people synonyms and etymology, not trying to bash anybody. I'm showing about this God here. He's showing you one eye. This is the same God. And if you look at his hand position, it's the same as Mazda. The hands are stretched out. Sometimes they'll have them holding a staff, or they're serving the people the fishes and loaves like Jesus. But the hand position is the same as well. All right. And that's the same deity. So let me just go back. We're getting advanced syncretism here, people. Advanced syncretism. All right, let me go ahead and take this off, man. What is this? Hold on. All right, back to this. So if you look at the Masonic image, you can see the god Mazda. In the middle is a ring. You see the ring in the middle? You see the wings around the all-seeing eye? You see the wings around the all-seeing eye? It's the same God, the all-seeing eye, with the wings, with the ring around it. See this Jesus with the halo, Jesus on the cross with crown of thorns right here. You see the ribbon hanging off of there? That's the ribbon right here, right? Syncretism. I've been doing this for years, y'all. Now let's go ahead and so let's break down what we're looking at here. What are the Masonic two pillars? What are the two wings of Shamash? That's the question. How do we exercise this concept today? That's the question. All right, let's go back here just so we can get on track. So here is the Freemasonic two pillars. And if you want to make a comparison, you got your all-seeing eye in between two pillars. And here you have your all-seeing eye in between two wings, which are the two pillars. This would be Moses splitting the sea. When Moses split the sea, it's a Shamash ritual. They're just going to keep giving you the same story. But anyway, check this out, right? This God here, right? What we want to point out about him, his two wings represent order and chaos. Today's government is maintained by keeping us on cycles of order and chaos, but balancing them out. In other words, it's built on making you panic, maintaining a state of panic, and then easing the panic by saying we created a new invention. And often the new invention is a step backwards in human advancement. Something that's going to be more destructive to the earth and all of this good stuff. The new advancement comes with a price to us all. But the reason they creating it is because they telling you they got to fix nature. Remember, these people gave you a cosmology that said it started off from a primitive creation, when we know that the creator don't make nothing incomplete. Look at how perfect everything is maintained, balanced out in this reality. And you telling me it's evolving to be perfect? What's imperfect is your interpretation of it all, Neo. Now check this out. The two wings of Shamash represents order and chaos. This is the two pillars of Freemasonry. Another way you can look at it is cosmic good cop and bad cop. That turned into devil and God. This concept of devil and God never existed prior to the law. Who convinced man he needed a law? The devil was the problem. The law was the solution. Because the devil tempted people to sin, God created a law to save them from the sin. That law is interpreted as the doctrine of forgiveness today. But it's the same law that you're persecuted with in court. You can't go up in the courtroom and ask the judge for forgiveness. I'm telling you that the spiritual aspect is to ease the fact that you're in hell. Poor people are more religious than rich people, but rich people write the laws. Poor people are persecuted under the law, and we ease the pain through the spiritual system. So it's the dynamic of order and chaos. You got so many niggas in prison living in chaotic conditions, and they're so comfortable, and they'll come up to you with a Bible, with a Quran, preaching to you. See, they don't want the same kind of chaos that they created in your communities to exist in their prison cells. See how crazy it is? They want to be able to turn it on like a faucet and off when they want to. So they want to be able to make your children kill each other in the community, but yet you can have 10 guards watching 10,000 prisoners. And they don't rise up against them. Did you know that the number one governor of the prison is the library, which is full of Qurans and Bibles and religious books? This is why all of these dudes get out preaching to you. All of these Moors and stuff. It's because they need a system. Once they get you into the system, into the injustice system that's built against you, they create the conditions to create criminals. They criminalize you, punish you, and persecute you under a medieval style justice system. And then they calm you down once they trap the gorilla in a cage. They give them a Bible and say, now be calm. Now that one nigga dead and one in jail for life, the nigga who just shot the whole house up find Jesus all of a sudden. How the hell do the prison get them to turn it on and off when mama been yelling at this nigga for years and he wouldn't act right? What is the system of hypnotization? Because a hypnotist can make you sleepy one minute and tap into some other whole nother personality, then snap back out of it. That's how you can be twerking on Saturday and praising on Sunday. Hello. Y'all know I ain't lying. We still under this same pandemonium system. Now, the two pillars of Freemasonry is Democrat, Republican, God, devil, man versus woman, this versus that. It's the duality that they perpetuate to maintain chaos and then exalt themselves at gods by giving you a false sense of order within the chaos. Remember that within a chaotic situation, we always find comfort in the God, not in the home. How do you find more comfort in your God than your house? I knew niggas who didn't want to leave the church because they was more comfortable in the church than at home. They trying to help clean up and shit. Boy, get home and enjoy your family. Pastor get all their time. They don't want to be at home. They feel complete at church, the smell of it, the sound of the Bible pages turning. You know. So we live in a world where a parent ain't even comfortable in their own home. You got Christian parents, right? That's being terrorized by their own children. They don't know why their children turned out so wild. It's the religion and fucked up indoctrination that you gave them thinking it was good. You create the monster. Then now that you got this monster living in your house, you ain't comfortable in your house. I knew mamas who didn't want to go home because their daughter was in the streets, ghetto, cussing their ass out. Had daughters that was talking to the mama like a woman in the street. Daughters raising their hand at the mama and shit, punking the mama, the Christian mama. Lord, I'm going to leave her in your hands. They don't want to leave the church because she at home. It's going to be an argument. Guess what? You found your comfort in Jesus and not in your own home. When guess what? The word home is a synonym for the word fort. A home is a fort, like a fortress. So when you say comfort, it's directly related to your house, Negro. If you can't be comfortable in your fortress, in your fort, so we're in trouble. Because your house was your original temple. And you praised your children. That's what made them good children and not little devils. You give them that Bible, and that Bible don't praise your children. It tell them they're a filthy sinner, a worthless wretch, a worthless rag. And you wonder why your children is a damn beast. You can't control them. They ain't grateful to you, don't respect you. You bought them all them Christmas gifts and bought them all that stuff, but they don't respect you. You know why? Because you told them Santa Claus gave them the gifts. You should have told them Mama worked hard for them gifts. You told them Shamash gave them the gifts. See that beard on his face? He's Santa Claus. You told him he gave them the gifts. You said Jesus blessed us with the gift. Why should I thank Mama? God, Jesus gave her that shit. She didn't. You giving up. That's what your child need to get, instead of the discipline you trying to beat out of them. If you let them know, look, I'm rewarding you, son, with all of these gifts because I love you. I work hard every day, son. I be sleepy at work. I have to drink energy drinks. Them energy drinks ain't good for me, but I'm pulling double shifts because I want you to have the best. Ain't no Santa Claus, son. I'm your savior. Anytime you in trouble, son, who you call? Your daddy. I'm your savior. You call your mama, that's your savior. And son, we giving you the praise, son, because you doing good in school, boy. That's why I'm working hard. That's why I'm giving you everything you ask for. And we don't celebrate Christmas, son. You know why? Every time you show me an A on that report card, you get a gift. Not just on one day. I give you the praise because you're my creation. I exalt thee above me. I exalt my children above me. You know what that means, son? I hope you become better than me. I hope you become better than your father. We took this shit and flipped it. Now we give it all to Jesus, and the children running the street fucked up because the love you supposed to be giving them, you in church crying and foaming at the mouth instead of praising them, saying, son, don't you know how much I love you? Because your son losing his mind, your daughter losing her mind. She see you giving Jesus all that kind of love, running around pulpits and talking shit to them. You really think about it, it's a little bit of jealousy involved when you see your mama got another son named Jesus that she give more credit to than you. Like your mama ain't never jumped around and ran around no pulpits to praise your works, but she do it for the son Jesus and wonder why the children turn out fucked up. Like you cheated on me. You had a imaginary son that you was giving the kind of love I really you should have gave me. What if parents love their children with the love of God, with the love that they given Jesus? These folks are sick because they're intercepting that parental type deep love that a child need to see from their parent. They need to see their parent cry with so much love. Damn, I love you so much. These are tears of joy just because you my creation and I'm touching you and I'm looking at you. You came out of me. Damn. But you'll do that in church though. You died for my sins. They got you doing that for Jesus. When you supposed to praise the child, take the P off of praise, what you get. Supposed to raise the child. That's why I keep telling you, I exalt thee above me. You can't raise a child without exalting them. Exalting them means to raise them. But to raise them, you must praise them, not just beat the shit out of them. We in a type of world where you say, don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to beat your ass. But we used to be in a type of world that said, if you do what I tell you to do, son, you can have anything you want. Anything that's within my means. You ain't got to want for it. I'm going to shower you with blessings and give you the praise, son, for all of your life achievements and milestones. Boy, we'll have geniuses around here. We don't got golden children. Remember that movie, The Golden Child? We don't have golden child, but we got golden churches. We got golden pulpits. Our children fucked up though. Because what we investing in the church and to Pastor Pochop family and the love we giving Jesus and the temple, we should be giving our children, which is our temple that we built with our flesh and our blood. But you give you more of your energy to some damn imaginary God. It's time for my people to wake up. It's time for my people to wake up. I don't do this because I'm fucking, it's fun or because, I don't do it because I want to be on YouTube. I do it because I know better. And with this kind of information, I can't sleep at night. I got to go live. I got to tell you what's up. We plan out here. While folks out here telling you about Anunnaki and all this pseudoscience, come over here and get the truth to see where we at, where we really at in this matrix. Time for Q&A. Let's do a Q&A, man. Let's do a Q&A so we can dismiss the students from the class today. Been a good mystery school, if I say so my damn self. All right, come on, y'all. I now got the chat room up, y'all, for the mystery school. We about to blow up the chat. Blow up the chat. Boom! Oops. We ain't mean to blow it up like that. We meant blow it up like that. Let's blow that thing up. Now, Q&A. Any questions? Q&A is at this time, people. Q&A is at this time. Q&A is at this time. All you got to do is send in a super chat. It'll help me support the channel and I can see your question. Or if you don't have no money, then you just do the @ symbol, shift and 2. And then type my name and it'll pop up. Click on it. Type your question. It'll work just like a super chat. So now they let me monetize this channel and Flat Power, but not Bro Sanchez TV, because they know that I get a lot of donations and because of a lot of views I get on that channel. But it ain't gonna stop me, man. I know y'all got me. Shout out to everybody on the Cash App. Shout out to Patreon. Shout out to my PayPal donors. Come on with your questions, people. Come on with your questions. Soon as I find my phone, I can call out Cash App donations, PayPal donations. But my phone must be upstairs. So to the people who donated via Cash App, via PayPal and all that, I'm gonna put your name on the list. I ain't gonna forget you. But I don't have my phone right now. But I thank y'all. And I thank you for the super chat donors. Shout out to everybody that purchased the Teespring gear. We got some fire gear, man. I'm about to purchase me some when I get off this stream. Purchase me some hoodies. You'll see me rocking them. I'm still making my mind up on what I want. Hey, shout out to my peoples, Dynasty Muhammad. Shout out to you. I don't think no one have any questions. And someone just put out there that my Cash App is not working. Quit trying to get people to not give me this money, man. I just did my Cash App today. I personally put it in there. I'm finna test it right now. See if you telling the truth, or is you trying to get people away from dropping the money on the Cash App? That link does work, man. It led me right to the page. Are y'all having problems with the page or something, or you don't know what to click on? I can do a quick tutorial because, you know, we appreciate the Cash App donations. This is how it looked when you go to the Cash App link. And you all should know what to do from here, right? I think you click on one of these and you move forward. Now, I never sent money to myself, but when y'all send Cash App donations, don't it start the process by picking one of these two options and it leads on to the checkout process? Put a 1 if you've donated Cash App, and that's how you get past the white screen. Because I think that's what they don't know what to do when they get here. So to people who donated the Cash App, I'm not sure, because I don't donate to myself now. But what I'm saying is the donors who donate the Cash App will be able to tell you how to get past this white screen to the checkout. And I think you got to pick one, App Store or Google Play. But they can tell you in the chat. But anyway, enough of that. Y'all might think I'm begging. Let me get to the questions. I didn't see any questions. Hey, another shout out to my sister, Didalinda. My brother, Muhammad, appreciate you too. Everybody for the love, man. Appreciate the support. Makes this stuff worthwhile, man. It's not just the hours I put on the stream, it's the hours I put into the research off the scenes. What does Stonehenge have to do with the Masons? What Stonehenge have to do with the Masons, it shows you that whoever built Stonehenge had electricity. Listen, it's all about why Masons call themselves Masons. You know why? The earliest human ancestors, according to Darwinism, they would have called them the Stone Age humans, where you get the little Flintstone creatures from. But the secret of the Masons is that the cave people are the most advanced people on earth, like the Pygmy, the Twa. So Masons get their name directly from stones, from the dealing with stone, because the secret can be solved by looking at the ancient structures, such as the Olmec heads, Stonehenge. Why do the Masons control anthropology and paleontology, fossils, which is dealing on the rock? The rocks speak. If you listen and decode them, they'll tell you that the ancients had electricity before, what's his name? The dude who killed Tesla. The dude who found GE, General Electric. Somebody know his name in the chat, they'll tell it. I got bright people. What the Pan-Africans hide from you? Let me show you what the Pan-African hide from you. What they're doing is misinterpreting the fucking stones. Let me show you how. How many of y'all saw comedic people pull this shit up and they say, the light bulb was invented in Kemet? Why do y'all ignore that? Plasma. What the Egyptians had electricity. Where you think the Christmas tree come from? When they worshiped the doggone Pharaoh, they would wrap lights around the pyramids. Can you imagine going to the Giza Plateau back in them days, seeing the lights around the pyramid during the holiday, during the Shamash festivals in honor of the Pharaoh? Today, you would say, oh, that'll be fun. No, remember, you still in medieval times. There was a lot of sick stuff going on. It wasn't a celebration of Christmas how we doing now. Because if you really want to talk about the whole tradition about drinking eggnog, it gets disgusting when you talk about the sperm of the Pharaoh was revered. And people would take the sperm of the Pharaoh and put it on their foreheads. It was called anointed oil. This sound familiar, right, Christians? Don't they skeet your forehead off with the holy oil? Don't call me sick. I'm just showing you the tradition. This God was known for his phallus. People worshiped his phallus. So I can show you images of males standing under a big pharaoh with his cock out with white stuff dropping on him. And one of the images, I ain't gonna even show it because YouTube getting strict. In one of the images, you got a dude. The pharaoh is part man, part faucet. This is where it get Jesus, my cup runneth over. What do a male wear in sports for his crouch? A cup. A cup. My cup runneth over. The crotch runneth over. This was talking about, and see, the crazy thing about it, we talking about is royal succession. That's why they worship the sperm of the god. Because his sperm carried the lineage. It was royal. That's why you make jokes like the royal nuts, all of this stuff. It's a joke, but it's truth to all of this stuff. So if you want to know about the royal nuts, it's not nothing I'm making up. I'll show it to you. The staff of Rafiki was the scepter of Judah, or the royal nuts. For a time, this was worshipped. More phallus worship. So I want to be the one to wake the people up. Royal nuts. Your Facebook symbol. 007 is a code for the paper bull. What you call that symbol? That Facebook looking symbol. That's not Facebook. That's a Freemasonic symbol, but I forgot the name of it right now. Somebody in the chat will help me on that too. Let's take that off. We don't want that up there too long. Earlier, I was telling you about Odin. Odin and Aten. Here you go right here. In the top right is Atum or Aten, and in the bottom left is Odin or Oten. And they showed you this god in a series called Lion King. His name was Rafiki because one of his names is Ra. Ra. And he carried a staff. As you can see, they got him with the balls and the nuts in his hands and the scepter, which is, see, they can't have that monkey with an erection like the god Pan. So they just give him a stick with some nuts on it, but it's subliminal programming. That's a phallus he holding. And what does he do? He shake it up to do magic. That's the resurrection, the magic of Jesus' staff or the scepter of Judah. This is it right here. Capricorn. I want to teach my people. She asked a good question, and I think the question, again, let me repeat the question. 2-ball cane. Yeah, 2 balls and a cane. What was that question again, sister? It was, that's why I even brought all of this up in the first place. I want to know if I answered you good, because I can get off subject. Let me go and see if I can find that. I ain't slept all night, so. Hold on. All right, well, whatever that first question was, I hope I answered it. I'm going to just move on. I hope I answered you good. Oh, what? Yeah, I didn't answer you. Let me tell you. So what do the stones got to do with the Masons? If you look at all of these stones, only a dummy would think that the ancestors sat there and used a rock to carve them with. Think about it. Look at the pyramids. Look at the carvings in the pyramids. Look at Stonehenge. You know why they call them wonders of the world? Because they got the whole world wondering about how they was built. But you know what? Ain't nothing to wonder about. You know how they was built? With the damn electrical grinders, the same way we build buildings. See, they tell you the truth on one sense and tell you the lie on the other sense, and you don't put them together. The Pan-Africans keep telling you the Egyptians had electricity. The Pan-Africans keep telling you the Egyptians had electricity. But yet you want to know how Stonehenge was built. When around the time Stonehenge was being built, they was building the pyramids, which proving we had got into grinding technology now. But since they got y'all believing in evolution, they contradicting themselves on the timeline. Because on the Egyptian timeline, we see electricity during the time where we supposed to be cavemen. We got structures built. Listen to me. This is what the Masons hide right in your face. People visit this shit every day on tourist trips, just like Giza. And they say, ooh, wee. And they don't know why they are in amazement. The TV has programmed to react and to be amazed, but they don't know why they're in amazement. The amazement is, how was it built if we was cavemen during the time of this? Remember, during the Stone Age, they told you we started working with rocks. But what they didn't tell you is that was when we started let there be light. And we learned electricity, and we built grinding tools. We built tools that can cut big pieces of rock like what they got today. But since their timeline got us as apes during that time, and apes can't have grinding tools, we show up at these sites today saying, ooh, I wonder how it was built, because ain't no way that was built during the time when people didn't even have toilet paper. You really think the ancestors was that primitive on one hand, but in another hand, the Pan-Africans who believe in that evolutionary lie turn around and say electricity come from Egypt. On one hand, they'll say electricity come from Egypt, but they don't tell you the time frame when it was invented. It was during the time that y'all play dumb about and act like y'all don't know how these pyramids was built and how the stones was cut. See, let me tell you the deception right now, folks. If they tell everybody right now, it ain't no big miracle. There is no big mystery. The ancestors were smart like us and they had grinding tools and electricity. If they do that, people will stop going to see this shit. They'll be like, oh, that's all? That's how this shit was built? And you'll stop giving them millions of dollars a year to take trips to go and say, I wonder how that was built, like a fool, paying for your ignorance. You gonna go there and the man gonna tell you this thing has been here during the time when cavemen walked the earth and no one know how it was built. Scientists think ancient aliens built it. It ain't no big wonder. You're wondering because you're stupid. Only fools continue to wonder and never figure the shit out. That's the riddle of the stone. That's why the Freemasons, the secret is the stones is telling you the ancients were advanced. How do you, this is a chunk of stone. People, they got the whole world convinced that this shit was carved by the ancients taking a rock and just grinding for a long time against another rock. This level of detail, this size of stone, that's one of their theories. Rock the rock theory, like a fool. Rock the rock like a fool. These folks got us so dumbed down, we ain't investigators no more. Let me go to the next question, man. We got to get out of here. Can you pull up the Mazda car symbol of today and compare it to the God Mazda? Yeah, the symbol that they use for the car Mazda is indeed the God Mazda. Yeah, I'll do it for you just so the new people can see it. No problem. There he go with his wings. They worshiping this God, and this the secret of secrets. I'm giving it to you here. And if you've been subscribed to a Pan-African channel and they ain't been going deep like this, they are agents, y'all. These folks agents. They talking about evolution and Pan-Africanism and Pangea, where everything come from this God. They tell you that creation was born from the middle of this ring and spread it out of the ring of creation. This was the North Pole God. He became Santa Claus. But it's Saturn worship. Plagiarizing the truth. Had nothing to do with all of that. You want to know where Christmas come from? Stick around for Christmas. I'll be doing a lecture on Christmas that's going to decode that like never before. Hold on a minute. Let me put a note. All right. Back to the questions. That was an easy one. Have you found any correlation between the two pillars and the lid of the Lord Pakal? I have not, but I will check into it. Does any of the research make you question who wrote it, or do you play devil's advocate and run with it? Have y'all saw me run today? I ain't bust one sweat. I'm sitting down, dude, in a chair. I ain't ran with shit. I've walked gracefully in the truth that I presented. Not to be smart. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to play devil's advocate and just run with things when I'm decoded in such detail that it's right here. How can everything I'm saying, I'm showing and proving with symbolism, syncretism, etymology. I'm not running with nothing. I'm standing damn secure. I ain't wiggling at all. I know what I'm talking about right now, dude. I'm an expert at what I'm talking about right now. Expert. I don't have to play devil advocate, run with nothing. Man, I know this shit. And I'm teaching you ancient sciences. What you got to do is prove me wrong. If you can't, you got to accept the facts. That's all. Now, I ain't being smart with you. I'm just saying, though, I'm just saying. What was the spark that got you into syncretism? Mine was your presentation on Hitler and the swastika being the Nagis and the symbol being the cosmos. What got me into syncretism was flat earth. When I realized the earth was flat, all of the symbols that ancients used to portray the flat earth immediately sync themselves, and all I did was show you the correlation. I didn't sync the symbols. They already been synced. I just realized they were synced and started telling y'all once I came into realization. What's your thoughts on spontaneous human combustion? I don't have no thoughts on it right now. Seriously, I don't want to make up nothing on it. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll write that down and look into it. I've been looking into it, but on a surface level, enough to just be in awe about it. Like, damn, that's happening. But not too deep into the process of how it's happening, why they say it's happening, and why so many pro-blacks use this to prove melanin. But we'll talk about it. I won't forget about it. Spontaneous human combustion coming up in the future. Do you think during the era of the first pharaoh, do you think there were matriarchs trying to overpower Narmer from his rule? It's still matriarchal soldiers trying to overpower the rule of Narmer. You looking at one of them now. You know what I'm saying? It's always have been. We just been outnumbered because most of the world been converted today under the laws of Ham. All right, if that's all the questions, then I'm on leave because I'm tired, man. And plus, we've been here for 3 hours. So I will be back before Thursday. I try to squeeze a stream on Flat Power some before Thursday. But if not, I will see y'all Thursday. I really enjoyed this stream. I hope that you share the Monday Mystery Schools with everybody you know. Share the goodness with them, all right? And let me get this off of here. So till next time, man, y'all be safe out there. Like I said, I appreciate everybody for their support. Been another episode of Mystery School with your host, Bro Sanchez. And if you got any topics you want me to touch on in particular, email me at talktobrosanchez@gmail.com. And I'll touch on the topics. I'll put them on my list right here. So yeah, man, peace and much love, everybody.
Bro Sanchez, just one who's out there in the fight to teach. Bro Sanchez, you got the story right, and now I see, yeah. Bro Sanchez.